So the whole piece of starting with the consumer in mind and with where they are is critical. So I can have the best gadget that's got all the bells and whistles, but if I don't do my due diligence and say is meet the consumer where they are and say is this what you need and this is what's going to make your life the way you want it to be for whatever you want to do, whether it's work, go to school, engage in the community, talk to your family, whatever it is, be more independent, be less independent, whatever your goals are. I have to start with that person. Just because I think it's the right thing may not be the right thing. And
Oh,
the
go ahead.
tool doesn't fix it. The tool is not the solution. The solution is what the consumer sees in their environment that will make it work.
Opinions shared by the guests of the show are their own and do not necessarily represent the views of the host, Buying Waves, or the Brain Injury Network. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of a healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Thank you.
I'm Carrie, a stroke survivor and a member of Bind.
And I'm Brittany. I'm a brain injury survivor and member of Bind.
And
Today,
I'm,
oh, yeah, go ahead.
let's say, I'm Angela Standridge, and I'm the director of the Texas Technology Access Program.
Alrighty. So, a little bit more about you. You lead the Technology Access Program at the University of Texas at Austin. Your work focuses on helping people with disabilities access technology that supports communication, independence, and daily life. She brings a practical, people first perspective on how technology can remove barriers and create opportunity. So, can you please describe the Texas Technology Access Program to us?
Yes, I can. So, to make life easier, we abbreviate to TTAP because everything in the disability word is an acronym, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So, we are a federally funded grant program through Health and Human Services Administration for Community Living. And there is a program like this in every single state. We're the one for Texas. So we are housed in Austin, but we do serve the entire state. Any person with a disability, little bitty babies, all the way to the aging. So roughly 16% of the population would have access to our services and their caregivers and their service providers. Would you like a little overview of what most of the AT programs do?
You know what? If you do that, you may take away all our questions because you've already answered several. So
I'll just wait then.
yeah, I mean, if we miss anything, feel free to add. We'll make sure we save some time in case we miss anything. But,
Hmm.
um, or we can just let you have the show,
Yeah.
whatever you want. Because one of what I was going to ask is it T-tap? Is it? I mean, it was. Jessica and I were talking about that yesterday too. But so it's T-tap is the okay.
So, what are the biggest benefits of TTAP for people with disabilities?
So there's a variety of services the AT programs offer. Probably our most popular service is our device loan closet. So we have a collection of assistive technology tools that anyone can borrow for 35 days. Uh, it's a mixy match of tools for different kinds of disabilities and needs. It's not so much durable medical equipment like wheelchairs and things like that, but it is things like computers and communication devices and desktop imaging systems for individuals with visual impairments, um, switch adapted toys, accessible video games. We have a robot feeding gadget that's kind of cool. So that's sort of one of our very high end tools. Um, so people can go in, create an account, they look at our database, they put the items they want to borrow in a cart, kind of like Amazon, but not quite as pretty of a website. And then they check out. and it sends an email to my device loan coordinator. And she said, it'll get so and so would like to borrow this device or devices. And she'll email back and say, these are available, there's a wait list, and then we box them up and we pay shipping both ways. If you are local to Central Texas, you could come pick it up, but it's actually usually just easier to ship it even if you're down the road
Sure.
because
Yeah.
we're on the UT campus and managing getting to a campus and getting to a building complicated.
I can only
Yeah.
imagine. Um, so you, so I'm gonna. You said you checked to make sure it's available. So I'm guessing you have multiple of each device. Um,
Multiples of many
okay.
devices. Not all. The less popular devices, we may just have one of.
Okay. And then you mentioned there's no age limit, so anyone can access it, take advantage. And families and caregivers, it sounds like, fit very easily into this process as well. So if I'm technology challenged and don't, or a baby, obviously I can't get on your website and order your stuff. So that's
So caregivers or professionals can utilize the system as well.
okay.
So many times the funding sources for these tools are they require like data to show that it was effective before they'll fund it. So a professional will check it out and use it with their client during the assessment process and the initial diagnostic intervention to collect that data, for example, for a communication device, to show that yes, this person was able to communicate more effectively with this tool, and then it's more likely to get funded. So the same thing if there was a child or something, or if a public school was going to utilize the system, um, there would be obviously an adult involved that's going to guide that intervention.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, you're saying like tools, computers, are more like, can you more elaborate on what kind of tools that you have? Like what devices?
So we have about 800 gadgets in our closet.
Wow.
They range from very simple things like low tech communication boards to very, very sophisticated things like the communication devices. I mean, the categories are broad. So there's things for people with vision impairments, things for people with hearing impairments, things for people with mobility issues, things for people with cognitive issues. We have a collection of tablets with pretty much every app you would ever need to use for education, communication, aids to daily living, community involvement, vocation type oriented things with accessibility features built in. Um, we can do some training with it, like a little 1 hour webinar if somebody checks it out, but usually you want to connect with the vendor to learn how to use those things. It's a little hard to answer your question in one word because there are so many different kinds of gadgets.
Okay,
So,
I have an idea. What let's just
uh-huh,
say what's like the top two common tools that people are looking for?
communication devices and things for people with visual impairments, like if someone can't see small print, there are these desktop imaging systems where you can put your either text or maybe if you're knitting or doing something like that, you put it under the camera and it makes it bigger. Both of those tools are quite expensive too, so you want to try them before you buy them, before you
Okay,
Yeah.
make an investment,
yeah.
whether it's through a funding source or through personal funds. Then
I
I would say the next thing might be tablets and laptops for sure.
okay. And so you said that it's a 35-day loan program. Can you check it back out like you do a library book, or is it
If there's not a queue for the device,
okay? But so then, so basically, you have 35 days to decide if it works for you, and if you like it and it does work, and you want to purchase it or purchase one. Obviously, we're not going to purchase from you. Can you kind of explain that process, and is there financial assistance for that if needed?
I can. So there are a variety of funding sources: Medicaid, Medicare, insurance for many of them. Um, there is an organization called STAP, which is the Specialized Telecommunications Access Program. It's a state program through HHS. It is funded through a tax on your phone bill, a little 2 or 3 cents. You'll see this little tax every time you pay your bill. And they fund anything that facilitates accessing telecommunications. So it could be communications, specialized phones, somebody who has a hearing impairment and needs a TTY system or something like that. Um, that's a pretty big funding source in Texas. There are some private funding organizations, and one feature that we do offer, we do have a financial loan program. You do have to pay the loan back, but we can provide favorable rates, and we tend to be a more forgiving than a bank might be. So if you went to Chase Bank and said, I need to borrow $5,000 for a communication device, they're just going to go, yeah, right. But we know what that is, and we know that sometimes individuals with disabilities may have uh, interesting funding. Like they may live at home, but they get a little bit of SSI funding, and they may work a part-time job. So we kind of look at that big picture to see if the person is able to pay back that financial loan. And then
Okay.
there are some that are disability specific. So there's one through Texas Workforce that is specific to older individuals who have acquired a blindness, like through macular degeneration or something like that. Even though it has nothing to do with work, it's under Texas Workforce. I don't know why.
Interesting.
Uh, but they provide the device and the training. So it's actually a really, really good funding source for that population. And if you go to our website, uh, we do have a section on acquisition that talks about more of those funding sources. Some are state based, some are national based, some are nonprofits and CBOs and things like that.
Okay. Quick question. So the website, it's pretty easy to navigate.
It is. So if you go to our website, it is fairly easy to navigate because we have it accessible for individuals who might be using accessible devices.
Sure.
So it's fairly text based and fairly straightforward, and not doesn't have complex navigation. So there's the one tab for the loan closet. We also contract with an organization called Project Mend. They refurbish durable medical equipment and then make it available to consumers at a significantly reduced price, which may be as little as nothing and as much as $20. So let me put a scenario for you. Um, if you have somebody who maybe they use a wheelchair and their wheelchair can only be funded every 5 years through their insurance company, and they find that they need either a second wheelchair or another wheelchair before their funding cycle is due, they can go to Project Men, say, I need this electronic wheelchair or manual wheelchair or whatever, bring a doctor's note, and $20 gets you anything in their warehouse. You do have to go to San Antonio, although they do make trips to Dallas, Houston, and other parts of Central Texas periodically, but it may not align with right when you need your tool. They also have things like hospital beds and bedside toileting and other kinds of durable medical equipment. And that is open to any Texan. And some Texans, there's even more benefits, like they have some additional benefits for veterans and things like that. So that's kind of another piece of our website is
Okay.
talking about that refurbished DME. Then we have our section on AT acquisition that is about funding. And also, we do have this is kind of a cool thing. We support a network of makers across Texas for fabricating assistive technology gadgets for people. So we don't really make them for individuals, but we're connected to, I think there's something like 60 or 70 entities in our collaborative group now. So if you live in Dallas and you need a XYZ 3D printed or laser cut or whatever, we can connect you with that maker group. And sometimes if they can't solve the problem for you, they'll bring it back to us and say, hey, our group meets virtually. It's 1 or 2 times a month. I can't remember for sure. Uh, but they'll bring the problems to the group and say, hey, do y'all have a solution? So that, sometimes it's to buy something off the open market can be $200 or $300, and to print it on a 3D printer is less than $1. So that's kind of a new acquisition thing we've added that's sort of cool. Let's see. And then we do training and we do outreach as well. So you'll see us at disability conferences across Texas, and we'll list where we're going, what we're doing with that. And then if you wanted to do either customized training or contract training, you can work with us with that as well. So if you were a school district and you wanted all your speech therapists trained on how to do assistive technology assessments for communication, we can provide that, but there is a fee for that particular service.
Okay, that's
That's
good.
cool.
And then the final thing that you'll see on our website is we do have demonstration centers all over the state. There's 28 of them spread around geographically. And so rather than having to come to Austin to take a look at something before you decide to check it out, you can go to your local demo center, and there are professionals there that are familiar with assistive technology and kind of talk you through some of the decision making processes and maybe provide some resources that you then might be able to have a better idea of what to borrow from our loan closet. Did that answer your question?
It did.
I got a little winded there,
No,
didn't I?
it's okay. I mean, we're intrigued. So yeah.
Yeah.
So then I guess let me ask this: do you have to create an account to look at all this stuff, or you only have to create an account when
You
you're
do
ready
need to
to
make an
check out?
appointment at the demo centers.
Okay, and that's available on the website too.
We have it divided by the geography of the state. So, like
Okay,
the East Texas ones and the North Texas ones and the South Texas ones and the West Texas
sure.
ones.
Okay, okay. So yeah, because I'm thinking like right now, I'm like, well, what would be beneficial for me and my needs? But yeah, I would have to look at the list to figure that out. Because I know when I first had my stroke shortly after, I went to TWAC, and I'm gonna not say anything much more about that because they gave me what they considered a one-handed keyboard to practice with. Absolutely couldn't stand it. Not for me. But I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't work for other people that only have one hand. But I was like, did not like it. But yeah. I mean, and again, that's what you're there for, right? Is so that we can try it and go, no, that doesn't work for me. My hand is small enough. The keyboards are small enough. My one little hand can do just fine with a regular keyboard. So the other one felt like more ergonomically, and I was like going like this. So like no, but I'm going to take one quick little break and just remind our listeners to go ahead and click that like button, that subscribe button, and that follow button so you can make sure you get all the updates on Bindwaves.
So I know, well, going back, one tab that I would like is the Maker tab. I'm a maker, so I love 3D printers, laser cutters, and different technologies. So that's pretty cool program. So, yeah.
It is. If you go to our website and you click on the acquisition section and you go to the 3D printing section, there is a Padlet we have created, which is basically just an online bulletin board. And we have curated a collection of 3D printed items geared towards specific disability needs
Oh.
and specific profession types. So, like if I'm a speech therapist, it has my sorted files that a speech therapist might use. So, most of the 3D print files are uh, in the public domain. So, we've just curated the list and made it a little bit easier. So, you're not just, searching the World Wide Web to find the best adapted key gripper for somebody who can't hold a key like this, right? So,
Which I 3D printed one before, so that's why it's so fascinating to me because 3D printing things to help you adapt better to life. So,
So, how often are y'all researching new technologies and are new items added to the library?
funny, you should just ask that. I just came back from a conference called the Assistive Technology Industry Association, which is kind of the premier gadget assistive technology conference. And so, one thing we do is we do attend these professional conferences and tour the exhibit hall. There were, I don't know, 11 rows of
Wow.
exhibitors. We had to, there was a couple of my staff there. We had to split it up because we couldn't get to all of it. So that's one way we stay connected. Another way we stay apprised is because there is a program like this in every state, the directors of the programs collaborate together, and we have a shared listserv that we can share information and updates on. We also meet annually in person once a year and monthly. And when we meet monthly, they give us like a, they'll invite a vendor to come and do their little elevator speech before we have our business meeting. So it's there are many avenues to stay connected. Plus, once once somebody finds out you're the state AT program, the vendors come and find you.
Oh, Okay.
A good 25% of my daily emails are some vendor reaching out saying, "Hey, wouldn't you like to buy my gadget?"
Okay, so we had I'm gonna read this question because it was a new one added last night. I don't even know if you got it. And it's actually the gentleman that recommended to you had this question. So, and it's like I said, Jessica just added it last night. Are are there items explicitly identified as assistive included in the collection? So his example was emerging smart glasses are designed for able bodied users, but there could be potential for them to support people with vision or cognitive impairments. Is something like that in your library?
We do have some of the smart glasses. That technology is almost there. It's just
Okay.
not quite as smooth as I'd like it to be yet. But we do have a couple of samples of that. I sort of have this rule about when a new gadget comes out, I wait at least 6 months before I buy it because many times the companies don't succeed. And if I buy something and put it in my loan closet and somebody borrows it and they can't go out and buy it, that's useless. So I
Sure.
kind of wait to see where it's going. And then inevitably, after 1 year, there will be an update to whatever a new thing is.
Mm-hmm.
And then nobody wants to borrow the old one.
Sure.
And since I am a steward of taxpayer funds, I feel like I kind of have to find this happy medium of when I see a new gadget, when do I actually buy it and add it to the closet? So that because they're usually quite expensive when they're new, like those glasses are several $1,000s. So you want to make sure you're doing that well. So are they, those would probably be categorized under a VI tool, a visual impairment tool, but anybody could check them out for another application if they
Okay.
wanted to. And I think you're right. There could be application of that tool for mobility issues and cognitive issues as well. I think
Okay.
that could cross over. In fact, there's many times when tools can't be put in one finite category like
Sure.
that.
That makes sense. So, okay, well, cool. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. So, are there any barriers or gaps or challenges with this program that you have?
Funding.
And
I
that's
want more money.
everyone. Yeah,
I
right?
want more money to buy more more staff and to buy more gadgets. So the other state programs, not Texas, often get additional funding from their state
Oh,
or other sources, not Texas. Additionally, other states also provide funding for assistive technology for their citizens. Not Texas, not much.
there you go.
So I would like more sources for my consumers to buy equipment, and I would like more funding for my program. We've been close to level funding for about 2 or 3 years. It's a benefit that this particular program is what they call authorized, which means a law was written that put it in place, and in the law, they defined how the funding was done. So as long as the federal government is funded, which, as you know, can be a
Right.
thing lately,
Yeah.
as long as the federal government is funded, then we get funded. So when I say we've been level funded for about 3 years now, we've had the same funding
Okay.
across
Yeah,
time.
that makes sense.
So I've still had to increase my cost of living for my staff, and the cost of devices has gone up, but that pot of money hasn't gone up. So the result is we buy less stuff for our loan closet.
Okay.
So that's kind of that would be my big ask.
Okay. That's a good ask. I just had another thought. So everything sounds pretty simple to use. When you're getting ready to check out something, do you have to have a doctor's note? Do you have to prove that you have this disability? Okay, nice. I mean,
Not
we
at
don't
all.
want people taking advantage of it, but yeah. But you don't have to have a doctor's note.
That
Maybe you want
I've
to.
never seen that being a problem, and most of our stuff comes back on time. Most of it comes back undamaged. Occasionally, we lose some power chargers. I bought more iPad power chargers than I think anything else. But they're $50, so whatever.
Right.
So wrap it up. Is there anything we didn't ask that you feel like that's really important to share?
Um, well, I would like to kind of reflect back on the comment you had before about when I think you said you worked with Texas Workforce and the gadget didn't really, it wasn't a good fit. So the whole piece of starting with the consumer in mind and with where they are is critical. So I can have the best gadget that's got all the bells and whistles, but if I don't do my due diligence and say is meet the consumer where they are and say is this what you need and this is what's going to make your life the way you want it to be for whatever you want to do, whether it's work, go to school, engage in the community, talk to your family, whatever it is, be more independent, be less independent, whatever your goals are, I have to start with that person. Just because I think it's the right thing may not be the right thing. And
Oh,
the
go ahead.
tool doesn't fix it. The tool is not the solution. The solution is what the consumer sees in their environment that will make it work. So I might have some ideas because I have 40 years of experience doing this stuff. And I say, try this and this and this. And if they say no, then I'm going to have to say, okay, and stack and say, what else can we look at? And technology is an evolving world. AI is changing everything. There's probably a solution out there. It just may take a while to get there.
Okay, so you bring up a good point that I didn't like. So it's not just I check out on the library that I want this. There is a discussion that we have with someone in your office,
There,
like what we're trying, what our goal is. So it's not just I want to try this device. It's I'm trying to accomplish.
there can be. If there's a professional involved, usually the professional is guiding
Okay,
that experience. But many times a family member is contacting us or a person with a disability. So there's five of us for the entire state of Texas. So that's 16% of the population.
right.
And
And you're
there's 30
saying
million
six
people in
zero, not
Texas.
1 6, correct? Oh,
1/6. About 16% of the population identifies with a disability, more or
okay.
less. Anyway, uh, so we can't provide evaluations or assessments or direct recommendations, but we can guide people or ask questions or give them resources or guide them to a professional in their geographic area to help them make those final decisions.
Okay, that makes
Sometimes
sense.
it's something simple like I get contacted by an older person and they say, I can't see my screen anymore. I say, well, did you turn on the screen reader on your phone? And they go, I didn't even know I had a screen reader. And then they turn it on and they go, oh my gosh, now I can use my phone. So that's like a 10-minute phone call or a 30-minute webinar, maybe, right? So that's not even really an assessment. That's just the did you know about this thing? But prescribing a communication device, that's something a speech therapist would do that takes some time because you've got to trial the device and find the right fit for that's much, much more involved. So
Sure.
that is not really something we could do.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. So it kind of depends on where you are. Like at this point in my life, I know what I know and I know what I need. So I would be able to figure it out. And again, like I said, I was at the stage where I was, already typing on a computer and knew where I was going. And like I said, it was just, in my mind, it was too big for me. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I think this was great. Angela, thank you so much for coming on. And like, honestly, I didn't even know y'all existed until this recommendation came our way. And I feel like you're a service out there that we really, more of us, should know about. So I'm excited to go check out the website and for our listeners to learn about you. And sorry to add to your workload, but we might if we
Now I'm going to
can.
do a plug too. We do have a conference open to anybody.
Okay.
We have professionals come, we have agency people come, we have caregivers come, and we have people with disabilities come. It is October 28th and 29th of 2026. If you go to our website, it's the tab on the left that says Viva La Vida with AT. We have a taco theme to every we have a Mexican food theme to everything we do because we like to eat. So our big thing is we serve breakfast tacos and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Viva La Vida. So there you go.
Oh, that sounds good. We'll
But
have to
we
check
have
it
an
out.
exhibit hall. We have about 40 sessions. We have a make-a-thon for an assistive technology gadget. So I would encourage anybody to come and enjoy our conference. It's a fabulous, fabulous time.
And it's in Austin?
It is in Austin.
Okay.
It is on the Pickle campus, so it's a little bit easier to
Pickle.
navigate than the main campus. It's kind of over by the domain, if you know where that is.
No, I can ask my sister.
Well, it's north of the main campus and not downtown, and you can
Okay.
park.
Oh, park.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's key. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
no, but again, thank you so much for your time and for coming on and sharing with us. Like I said, I'm excited.
I'm excited. Yeah. And thanks to our listeners for listening. And remember, you can find our new episodes on all your favorite platforms. Until next time.
Until next time. Thanks, Angela.
All right. Bye
Thank
bye, y'all.
you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We hope you've enjoyed listening to Bindwaves and continue to support Brain Injury Network and our nonprofit mission. We support brain injury survivors as they reconnect into life, the community, and the workplace. And we couldn't do that without great listeners like you. We appreciate each and every one of you. Please remember to click the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button on YouTube. And follow us on Instagram at Bindwaves and Brain Injury Network on Facebook. You can email us at bindwaves@thebind.org or go to our website, bindwaves.org, or call us at 972-769-2463. Please continue watching. Until next time.